watched a mother tiger attack her own newborn cub. The mother kept pushing her away, snarling. Then she left her on the dirt road to die. I picked her up. She was so small and terrified. I wrapped her in my jacket and brought her home. I set her down gently and named her Luna. She was starving and barely breathing. My black cat Shadow walked up to her and started grooming her immediately. Shadow became the sister Luna never had. They did everything together, sleeping in the same bed, playing with the same toys, eating side by side. Shadow didn't care Luna was a tiger. To her, Luna was just family. Months passed and Luna kept Shadow's size, but she still acted like a kitten. She'd try to curl up in Shadow's tiny bed and squeeze herself into spaces she couldn't fit anymore. I knew a house wasn't the right place for a massive tiger. I had to take her back to the wild. The day I released her, Shadow sat in the car watching. Luna looked back at us one more time before walking into the forest. I thought that was the end, but a year later, I heard scratching at my door. I opened it and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Luna was standing on my porch, and behind her were 3 tiny cubs. She had brought her babies to meet the family that saved her life. I watched them.
Impossible challenge? Dare you try?
I dumped her on our wedding day. 15 years later, I became a famous star, but I was never happy. I felt guilty every single day. Then one day, I saw my best friend on television. He passed away. That gave me the courage to go back to our small town. Against my friend's warnings, this outcome was totally unexpected. I didn't know she had a kid after the funeral. I watched her and her daughter quietly. At that moment, she looked so strong. She saw me and froze. Then she walked up to me, mad as hell. No small talk, no yelling. I was the one who left them.
Hey, Liam. Oh, hey, Dad.
My dad took me home. I hated the drink he made, so I rode a bike to town to buy some. Maybe it was fate. I ran into her again. I followed her out of curiosity. She went to a flower shop. Turns out, after her mom died, she raised our daughter alone with this shop. In other words, she did fine without me.
You don't belong here anymore, Liam.
Our daughter broke the awkward silence. It was the first time I saw her up close. Then she said something that shocked me. She said her mom was my biggest fan. She listened to my music every night to fall asleep. I looked at the little girl who looked just like me. She knew she couldn't hide it anymore, so she told me everything. I listened. Went home and yelled at my dad. Why did he keep this from me? His answer crushed me.
I had to plead with one of the security guards to let me in to see my own son. And there you were. You're so out of your mind on God knows what.
He tried to see me years ago, but he was turned away every time. I was so regretful. I had to make it up to them, no matter what. Wherever she was, I was there one day. I went to her flower shop, pretending to buy flowers. I really wanted to see our daughter again, but when I saw her face, I had to leave. Disappointed, that afternoon, she asked our daughter's opinion. Surprisingly, she was so understanding. She told me to come over for dinner. The next night, the 3 of us sat together. I gave her a necklace. You could tell she loved it. It was the necklace she was supposed to get 15 years ago. Then our daughter asked me to her room. When I walked in, I realized how much of her childhood I'd missed. Looking at my innocent little girl, I felt happier than ever before. I dumped her on our wedding day.
This is proof that little kids can play better than NFL stars. This is proof.
These quiet dogs suddenly sensed something, even though there was no sound. Still, the dog suddenly started barking while staring at the front door. It was around 12 a.m., and for a long time, no one could figure out why. One dog ran toward the door, and the other came and stood right next to the owner. Both stayed on high alert. When the owner felt something off and started to get up, the dog stopped him right away. The owner tried to walk to the door to look outside, but the dogs kept blocking him, getting more and more restless. They wouldn't even let him open the door. Then they pushed him back toward the couch again, realizing how no one ever found out the reason. But those dogs were like real bodyguards. But still, they didn't get even a single like. And
You won't believe what The Rock did with Cena. But before that, if you're Undertaker and John Cena fans, hit like and subscribe now. Rock was about to finish his move when he stopped and asked Cena for his armband. Cena handed it over without hesitation. The crowd went crazy, expecting something insane. Rock tried to put it on, but it was way too big for his arm. Right there, Rock proved how much smaller his arms were compared to Cena. Cena just laughed, and his aura went through the roof. Rock or Cena? Comment.
This was a heavily armed convoy carrying Delta Force mercenaries. They had only one mission: to deliver Mexico's #1 drug lord alive to the United States. As soon as the convoy reached the U.S.-Mexico border road, a sudden and massive traffic jam blocked their path. At that very moment, 2 cars pulled up right next to the convoy. Inside them were members of the cartel group. The Delta Force soldiers were watching every movement closely. After all, they were transporting the biggest cartel boss in Mexico. Gang members were spread all around, and they were not going to let them leave so easily. Lisandro was aiming at the suspicious vehicles with his MP5. Suddenly, the door of the red car opened slightly. At that same moment, Delta Force soldiers stepped out from nearly 5 vehicles. Within seconds, they had surrounded the red car from all sides. Just then, Lisandro came running in and shouted in a firm voice, "If you value your life, drop your weapons immediately." But the cartel group tried to attack, and they were taken down right there. At the same time, the situation near the green car also went completely out of control, and the same thing happened there. Everyone was killed. After regaining control of the situation, everyone got back into their vehicles together. Lisandro sat in the back seat to provide cover fire. Finally, the convoy managed to move out from there and safely reach the U.S. military base. This was a heavily armed convoy.
This 18-year-old years in prison, but no one expected how this story would turn out. Because even though everything was going well when he began his climb and started filming the whole thing with his GoPro, about halfway up he was spotted by police who shouted at him angrily to get down. However, he decided not to listen and didn't let the officers stop him from his climb. And as a result, he scaled the entire 455-foot pyramid in just 8 minutes and enjoyed. Police were waiting for him and instantly took him into custody. However, when they told him they wouldn't press charges if he deleted all the footage, he agreed and deleted all the files. But as soon as he got home from his trip, the German team completely outsmarted them because he used a software to recover all the footage.
It was a respectful farewell. One of Japan's best referees officiated his final match before retiring. After the game ended, the players gathered to pay their respect. One player did something unusual. He deliberately took off his jersey so the referee would give him a yellow card. With a smile on his face, the referee issued the last yellow card of his career. It was a
When I finally found my long-lost boyfriend, I was shocked. But the moment he saw me, he turned and ran away. No matter how I called out to him, he didn't stop. It wasn't until I fell to the ground that he finally paused. Seeing this, he was about to come help me up, but a passerby mistook him for a bad person and pinned him down. I quickly stepped forward to explain that we were a couple. After hearing me out, the passerby let him go. By then, already sick and exhausted, collapsed and fainted. My boyfriend immediately picked me up and rushed me to the hospital. When I woke up, he was nowhere to be seen. I thought he had run away again, so I hurried out to look for him. When I saw him standing at the door, I ran up and hugged him tightly from behind. No matter what he said, I refused to let go. Eventually, he promised that he would never leave me without a word again, and took me back to his rented apartment. Later, when he was about to boil some water, he realized there was none left at home, and was about to go out to buy some. But the moment I saw him open the door, I became anxious again. To reassure me, he ran all the way to get water. Standing in front of the mirror, I saw how messy I looked. When he came back, I told him I wanted to take a shower. While I was taking my medicine, he quietly cleaned the bathroom. Seeing this made my heart ache. Just as I was about to close the door to shower, I was still afraid he might suddenly leave again. So I asked him to stay outside the door. Even then, I kept calling his name to make sure he was still there. In the bathroom, I finally couldn't hold back my tears. After I finished, I asked him why he had left so suddenly before, but he refused to answer and tried to leave again. I stopped him and asked him to lie down and rest. He froze for a moment. I placed a blanket between us, and seeing my attitude, he carefully lay down on the bed. I tried to express my feelings to him, but he didn't dare to respond and walked out of the room instead. Though heartbroken, I chased after him. When I confronted him, he said he couldn't give me happiness. His cowardice made me furious, and I immediately started packing to leave. Even then, he didn't try to stop me, but the moment the car started, he ran after me. Just when he was overwhelmed with sadness, I appeared behind him again. He rushed over and held me tightly, and in that moment, I forgave him. The next day, I decided to stay and went with him to buy furniture. After getting everything we needed, he decided to cook a meal for me himself. Like a married couple, we carefully picked out ingredients together. When we reached the checkout, I noticed him staring at a shelf nearby, thinking he wanted to buy cigarettes. I immediately agreed, seeing his hesitation. I went over to grab them for him. That's when I noticed the items on the lower shelf and instantly realized what he actually wanted. Embarrassed, I still put them into the shopping cart. In that uniquely awkward yet warm atmosphere, we went back home together. When I finally what he did next will leave you speechless.
Hey, you wanna take the trash out, brother? Yo.
Dang, bro, you don't know?
Thought your mama told you to clean this room.
My mom told me to clean this room. Alright. Man, whatever. My daddy.
Yo, 13. Even Jordan just came out. I gotta have these.
They want 80, but with tax, they're like 200.
Man,
What you mean?
you want some real dad. Every time I ask you to do something, you ain't my dad. You look out like your mom. Stand up on business. Go ask some real dad. Chunk.
His stepfather is being disrespected.
We're still waiting for your Arsenal. They're not going to win the league. Oh, God.
An entitled girl parked in my driveway and said it wasn't her problem, so I turned her into my prisoner. I came home from work Friday night exhausted and ready to collapse, only to find a BMW crammed up against my garage door. My driveway is this narrow concrete cage between stone walls, and once you're in and I park behind you, you're not leaving until I say so. This happens all the time when you live in a college town, so I just pulled up right behind her and went inside. Then around 10 p.m., someone pounded on my door. I opened it to find a girl in a crop top, phone in one hand. Move your car, now. She was breathing hard, her face already red. No apology, no greeting, just a demand. I pointed at the BMW wedged against my garage. You're parked in my driveway. She actually rolled her eyes and threw her free hand up in the air. I don't care, I need to leave. But you parked on my property. She snapped her fingers right in front of my face. Actually snapped them twice, like I was her personal valet. Just move it. I just smiled and told her, nah, I'm in for the night. I'll move it in the morning. Her mouth dropped open, and her face twisted into this disgusted expression like I just spit on her shoes. That's not my problem, Boomer. Those words flipped a switch in my brain. I watched her storm off, her phone already at her ear, one arm waving around as she yelled at whoever answered. Then the red and blue lights flashed down the street, and as I watched the cop car pull up, an idea hit me. I grabbed a beer from my fridge, cracked it open, and walked out to meet the officer, taking a long sip as I approached. The tired-looking cop glanced between me with my beer and the girl who was now pacing back and forth in my driveway. What's the situation here? He asked. I explained calmly. She parked in my private driveway without permission. I parked behind her when I got home, and now I've been drinking, so I can't legally move my car. I took another sip for emphasis. The officer took one look at the narrow driveway and the stone walls. He turned to the girl. Ma'am, you parked on private property. I can't ask him to drive under the influence. But I'm trapped. Her arms shot up over her head. You shouldn't have parked on someone else's property. Then he walked back to his patrol car. I couldn't believe that actually worked. I looked past the cop at the girl standing there with her arms still in the air and gave her the biggest smile I could manage. Then I pulled out my phone and glanced at the calendar. Labor Day weekend. 3 beautiful days stretching ahead. I walked back outside and told her I'd be drinking all weekend since it was a holiday, but she could get her car Tuesday when I went back to work. The shriek that came out of her mouth probably woke dogs 3 blocks away. I have classes Tuesday. I just shrugged and threw her own words back at her. That's not my problem. She kept spam calling the cops all weekend until they finally stopped showing up. Then Tuesday morning came. I looked out my window and there she was, sitting on my front steps, slumped over in wrinkled clothes, her hair a mess, looking like she'd been there all night. I grabbed my work bag and walked out in my suit. Her head shot up the second she heard my door open. She stood up so fast she almost tripped. Her eyes locked on me like I was her salvation. I walked right past her toward my car in the driveway. Then my Uber pulled up to the curb. I have a headache from all that drinking, I said with a shrug and climbed into the back seat. As we started to pull away, I turned around to look through the rear window and watched the hope drain completely from her face. Her shoulders dropped and her whole body just deflated right there on my front steps. Eventually, I let her have it back. My driveway stayed empty after that. An entitled...
With over 500 million items.
That day, the father brought home a small lion. It turned out to be a white lion, a 1 in a million occurrence. Seeing its innocent appearance, the family immediately loved it. Only older sister Mia recoiled because she didn't like animals, but they didn't know they were destined to experience a wonderful time.
One day, Mia was playing soccer in the yard. The small white lion came close to her, wanting to play with her. But soon after, it bit the ball and ruined it. This awakened Mia's displeasure. But that very day, everything changed. After arguing with her best friend, Mia cried bitterly. The small white lion approached her. Though it didn't understand complex human emotions, it gently licked the girl's fingers to comfort her. This made Mia start to like it. The little lion seemed to sense this and climbed into her bed while she slept. At first, Mia wasn't happy, but seeing how gentle and adorable it was, she was completely won over. She even gave it milk to drink. Gradually, they became best friends. They called it Charlie. But as time passed, Charlie started to grow. Mia also had to attend summer camp every year. On the day of parting, the white lion seemed to sense something and tried to struggle, but it accidentally scratched the coach. Mia knew Charlie didn't mean it, but her father was angry and, without listening to any explanation, locked it in a cage. Mia could only watch sadly as it was taken away. Without Charlie's company, Mia seemed to have lost her soul. Charlie missed her and barely ate. Moreover, because it was different, the other lion cubs rejected and bullied it. It didn't fight back for itself. Soon, it was covered in the scars from being bullied. Mia seemed to sense this homesickness too. She secretly escaped during an outing. The next day, her mother was surprised to discover that Mia had returned to Charlie's side. Seeing this touching scene, everyone was deeply moved. As the days they spent together accumulated, their bond grew stronger. Charlie grew into a majestic lion, but the problems became more apparent. Facing Charlie's huge size and the destruction it caused, no one in the house dared to control it. Only Mia could make it obey. The father started to worry. He was afraid that one day Charlie's wild instincts would awaken, and it might see Mia as prey. Bad news soon came. One day, a group of tourists came to visit Charlie. Meanwhile, Mia was watching videos in her room. Suddenly, a scream came from outside. Mia sensed something terrible had happened and ran out. Out of fear of the strangers, Charlie accidentally scratched a visitor who tried to get close to it. The father was furious. He announced he would sell Charlie because he believed a lion would always be a lion and its wild nature would never disappear. But for Mia, Charlie was her best friend. How could she accept selling it? To prove Charlie would never harm her, in front of her mother, Mia made a shocking decision. That day, the father brought home.
When the runner crossed the finish line, many people suspected something very strange after watching the race footage because Ruben Capallo appeared to have finished far earlier than everyone else, opening a huge gap that left spectators confused about how he had beaten some of the best marathon runners in the world, especially since he was not among the favorites and was never expected to finish the race. His role was only to act as a pacemaker, leading the first 30 kilometers before stepping aside. But what no one realized was that he had already planned something bigger. When he reached the 30-kilometer mark where he was supposed to drop out, he looked back and saw no one close behind him, which meant the pace he had set had already broken the field. At that moment, he saw the opportunity, and even though continuing could cost him his contract, he knew winning would bring a much bigger reward. So instead of stopping, he kept running. His strategy worked perfectly, as the early pace had already exhausted the top runners, and by the time they reacted, it was too late. In the final stretch, he pushed harder and turned a pacing job into a stunning victory, crossing the finish line with more than a 2-minute lead. When this
The boy watches his father get killed before his eyes. Hatred and anger ignite inside him instantly. He jumps off a cliff and turns into a huge dragon midair. Countless memories flood his mind, and he finally realizes he is a descendant of dragons. But all dragons are male, and they must prey on human girls to continue their bloodline. The boy's conscience can't accept this. It is too cruel, so he suppresses his instincts. Whenever his dragon nature awakens, he hides in the rock cracks to avoid hurting innocent people. But one day, he hears a long-lost dragon song. His inner dragon is fully awakened. He loses control, becomes a dragon, and storms into a village, taking a newlywed girl. When he comes to, the girl is under his claws. He throws her into a small cave to keep himself from touching her. But when the girl wakes up, she struggles out of the cave and finds herself on a high cliff. The boy tries to stop her from moving forward, but she doesn't trust him. By accident, she falls off the edge. He jumps down immediately and catches her, but his chest suddenly burns, and the flames spread all over his body. He becomes a dragon again. The girl is saved, but the dragon is badly injured and turns back into the boy. She picks up a stone to kill him, but she can't bring herself to do it. Seeing the boy about to be swallowed by the waves, she saves him. At dawn, she sees the whole island is a massive dragon skeleton, and the boy is the very dragon who took her. The wound on his back is from saving her, so the girl begins to treat his wounds and sings a soft lullaby to calm him. In the cold wind, they grow closer and closer. The next morning, the girl wakes up to find a fire burning in the cave and fresh fruit beside her. She walks out and sees the boy catching fish. She lets down her guard completely. In the warm sunlight, they collect many human things, clothes, blankets, and even human statues. They play by the sea and decorate their new home together.
Gradually, the boy smiles again for the first time in a long while. He suddenly hopes the girl can stay with him forever. The boy watches his...
I just found that I am related to a...
Yes.
Dom here?
Nope.
She's right there.
No, she's not.
I already meet my brother. Dom, this is my brother. Say what up, Liam.
What up, Liam? Are you bro?
My blood, sir. Same mom, same pops. Dom be calling me white all day, so I had to make a point, sir.
I'm gonna give you a 10-second head start. You better run, boy. Take Shaq with you. Go! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Luther, what's up?
Except as you gave my daughter gonorrhea, you little shit stain.
I did?
What the hell? You better run, Gallagher!
Why do you think you have gonorrhea?
No, but my girlfriend has it. Her dad wants to kill me, and the dude's a cop.
Okay, first things first, let's run a test. Hop up on the table. Remember this pain.
Been texting you.
Jeez, Carl, you scared me.
Yeah, well, your pops tried to kill me this morning.
Yeah? Probably best to avoid him.
I'm so sorry. I don't know how I possibly could have gotten gonorrhea.
You better get out of here. My dad will be home soon.
Wait, so that's it? You're just gonna ride off on the bike I bought you? Tom, I love you. It wasn't me, okay? I'm clean.
Where is she? She's supposed to be at Letitia's.
Unless Letitia's the name of a college, she's not.
Do you remember where this place is?
Yeah.
Come on.
Is there gonna be gunfire?
I sure should hope so.
I finally tracked down one of the men responsible for killing my comrade's family. When he begged for mercy, I didn't hesitate for a second. I jumped in my truck and took off. The police immediately issued a statewide manhunt, and 3 cruisers were right on my tail. I tried to lose them, but the moment I rounded a bend, I saw a roadblock set up ahead. They opened fire on the pickup, but by the time they rushed up and yanked open the doors, I was already gone. Fighting through the pain, I fled deep into the mountains. I spotted a cabin in the woods, broke the lock, and went inside to treat the wound on my arm. I grabbed 2 flares and a couple of lithium batteries. By then, the police had already brought in K-9 units to search the mountain. I pulled out a map, quickly mapped out an escape route, and then pushed farther into the wilderness in the middle of a pounding rainstorm. The next day, they deployed a helicopter to hunt me down. I deliberately took out my phone and exposed my signal on purpose. Their command center quickly locked onto my coordinates, but when the team arrived, I was nowhere to be found because it was a trap I had set in advance. The moment they spotted the phone on the ground, I set off a flashbang. As the blinding light disoriented them, I burst out from a pile of leaves, tackled the SEAL operator, grabbed his pack, and used the smoke for cover to make a fast getaway.
He was born dead. He had a 1% chance of living. They wanted me to sign a form to take him off of life support because they didn't expect him to live. I did not sign that form. I could not. I had to give him a shot.
He survived, but his lungs barely worked, and every winter he was back in the hospital. I just wanted to be a regular kid. His mom put him in football just to force his lungs to grow, and 22 years later...
Seattle Seahawks select Derek Hall.
But he didn't just make the league. He won the Super Bowl.
He was born dead.
Finding a reliable...
While walking my daughter to school, I noticed a mime on our street with a sign that said, 7 days until it happens. He had a notebook out and was writing things down, handing out drawings to people who walked by. My daughter thought he was hilarious and ran over to give him a coin. He took it, staying perfectly in character, and waved at her in slow motion while smiling with these wide eyes. Over the next few days, he never left. His sign now said, 5 days, and he was tying elaborate knots with a rope, spinning them into shapes while people threw money and clapped. By the time it said 3 days, he was crouched over a padlock, showing the crowd how to break it with a bobby pin, and people were filming and laughing. But with 2 days left, I noticed something odd. He'd only pick up his notebook and write it in when I was with my daughter. If I walked by alone, his notebook stayed on the ground. And the day his sign said, 1 day left, he wasn't performing at all. He was just standing completely still. And when my daughter waved at him, he didn't wave back for the first time all week. The next morning, he was gone. I was creeped out.
When German fighter jets fly overhead, a mother tells her children to hide in the bushes. But her 6-year-old son, Sergei, insists he isn't afraid. He even fires a slingshot at the planes. To everyone's surprise, he manages to hit a jets and explode them. But when he looks around, his family is gone. Sergei wakes up from the nightmare, calling for his mother. Moments later, someone knocks on the door. He runs to open it, thinking it's her. But instead, a terrified neighbor rushes in and tells him the truth. His mother and brother are dead. Seconds later, soldiers approach the house. She pushes Sergei out through the window, but is shot before she can follow. Sergei runs as his village burns behind him, calling for his mother in vain. With nowhere to go, he wanders.
Tiger, if he could put it in the fairway, I mean,
How many people do that? This heckler made Tiger Woods miss his shot in the final championship round and left him with a recovery shot so impossible, everybody doubted him.
213 yards, carry over water to a back pin.
If he plays it safe, he could lose the tournament. But going for the green is a shot that almost always ends up at the bottom of the lake. Nobody would go for this shot, but Tiger Woods decided to aim dead at the pin.
boy, this is some guts right here.
Uh-oh.
That looked like it might have went right.
This is right on line.
What a shot.
Just when you think you've seen, doesn't get any better than this.
Tiger, if he could put it.
GTA 5 and GTA 5 RP are pretty different. GTA 5 RP has real cars that are dope. Normal GTA, well, doesn't. GTA 5 RP has real cops.
Okay, I'm gonna search new pockets for any type of identification.
GTA 5 doesn't. GTA 5 RP has other people you can talk to and hang out with. GTA 5 doesn't. GTA 5 RP...
A top-tier sniper was playing video games at home when he suddenly became the nation's most wanted fugitive. The reason for his arrest was absurd. A high-ranking official had been assassinated from 1,000 meters away. In the CIA's intelligence database, he is the only operative recorded with the lethal capability to make that shot. The CIA supervisor shows him the crime scene footage and his own signature custom-made bullets. But he stands firm. He was home, gaming, the entire time. With no other choice, the supervisor orders him transported back to headquarters for formal interrogation. But mid-transit, a mysterious vehicle begins to tail them. He realizes the trap. They aren't just transporting him. They are setting up a suicide due to guilt scene. The driver is taken out by a sniper hiding in the shadows. Simultaneously, a masked hit squad launches a coordinated assault on the transport. He crouches low, tucking himself into the sniper's blind spot. Using the butt of his rifle to floor the accelerator, he roars away from the kill zone. He retreats deep into the Montana wilderness to find his father, Thomas, seeking a way to break the conspiracy. But Thomas checks the monitors only to find a team of special ops has ghosted him all the way here. His father calmly hands him a sniper rifle. He is ordered to exit through a hidden tunnel and flank the soldiers for an ambush. Thomas walks out the front door, hands raised in a mock surrender. Thomas dives back into the house as the air erupts with gunfire. He holds up a small mirror, calculating the angles and tracking the movement outside. One special ops soldier shifts from cover, trying to pinpoint the shooter's nest.
Stay down.
Thomas realizes there is a third party on the battlefield. Brandon rushes back toward the house at the sound of the shot, spotting a surviving soldier hunkered behind cover. Before he can even align his sights, a mysterious shadow is cleaning the battlefield for them. He pivots and sprints toward the treehouse, climbing the ladder and scanning the brush through the gaps in the wooden planks. His father joins the overwatch, unaware that a crosshair is already centered on his chest. In the thicket, a hawk-like eye blinks behind a high-powered optic. The female assassin hesitates. She knows that if she takes out one, the other will zero in on her muzzle flash instantly. 3 master snipers are locked in a deadly stalemate. She shifts her scope, finding a chaotic solution. She fires directly at the trigger of a rifle held by a wounded. The stray gunfire creates a diversion. By the time Brandon realizes the rouse, she is gone. The father and son split up to give chase, exactly what the assassin wanted. He stalks through the woods, failing to notice the assassin's barrel leveled at his head. His bullet striking the assassin's rifle chamber with surgical precision. He lunges forward, tearing away her mask. But the assassin reacts with professional fluidity, lashing out with a tether to sweep him off his feet. She scrambles for her sidearm, but she is a fraction of a second too slow.
Put your weapon on the ground.
Weapon drawn. The assassin surrenders and is hauled back to the cabin. Brandon initiates a satellite video call, transmitting her biometric data directly to the CIA. The supervisor runs facial recognition. She belongs to a known terrorist cell. With his father's help, the elite sniper finally clears the shadow cast over his name. top tier.
Is my father for real?
This woman completely breaks down when she finds out the man she was living for 40 years could not be her father.
Who I am inside no more. I'm so angry. I can't fight. I always want to lash out. I'm always angry, and I don't know why.
Maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he's not.
I'm 26 years old, okay? This is the only man I know for all my life. He's been there for my kindergarten graduation, my 6th grade graduation. He's been there for everything. I'm getting married in January. He's supposed to walk me down this aisle. And you gotta tell January. He's supposed to walk me down this aisle. And you gotta tell me the truth. What is wrong?
Mr. Jacobs, you, father,
The father.
are not her father.
No. I just want to.
Okay. We don't have time to do it again, I'm afraid, okay? I know that's going to upset you.
Holly was only one song away from making the grand final, but right in the middle of her performance, she completely froze. But the backing track kept playing, and the strict rules of live TV meant her one shot was officially gone, until the harshest judge on the panel stepped in.
Holly, I don't care how we find it, but we will find the time somewhere, okay? Right?
Simon promised her a second chance, but now the pressure was even higher, because if she walked back onto the exact same stage and panicked again, her dream was permanently over. But Holly refused to let the opportunity slip away, and sang the perfect performance.
You performed it, and you nailed the last night. Well done, Holly.
This little creature was not even 2 years old, yet it was whipped 50 times every single day. I saw fear in his eyes whenever a human approached him. From early childhood, he had known nothing but pain, but I understood. Behind that frightened gaze hid something fierce and powerful. If trained, he could become a deadly weapon. When I picked up the whip, I felt his body tremble. He thought it was the end, but my hand froze in midair. I lowered the whip. In silence, I cut a slice of pear and held it out to him. It was the first sweet thing he had ever tasted in his life. He swallowed the pear whole without even chewing. In that moment, something formed between us. I won his heart, not with fear, but with kindness. Then I did something I wasn't even sure I had the courage to do. By freeing him, I took an enormous risk. I opened the gates and gave him a chance to be free. He hesitated for a long time. He didn't want to leave. When I called to him in a clear and sincere voice, he finally turned around one last time. His gaze was heavy, as if he carried the whole world on his chest. I felt that he had etched my face into his soul. Without saying a word, he promised that one day he would repay my kindness. The king soon learned that the creature had disappeared. His fury was immediate. He ordered his men to hunt me down. I was declared a criminal, and a huge bounty was placed on my head. But they didn't know that I had already fled to the mountains with my wife. We lived in peace, far from everyone. However, that peace did not last long. One day, the soldiers completely surrounded us. I had no intention of surrendering. I grabbed my wife's hand, and we ran as best we could. But eventually, we found ourselves at the edge of a cliff. There was no escape. To save her, I made the hardest choice of my life. I pushed my wife into the river below, where the current was strong enough to carry her far away. Then I turned to face the soldiers. I was a powerful martial arts master. At first, in the open field, dodging the spears was not difficult. One by one, they attacked and fell. But then the general joined the fight. He fired a special arrow. As soon as it struck me, I felt my strength quickly fading. Before long, they overpowered me. They sealed me inside a coffin. The plan was to take me back to the palace, where my fate would be decided. And the film is called Kung Fu Monster. This little creature was not even
Shoot. Go. Get away.
This pooch belong to either you men. I see you eyeballing in Private Conroy. Better fetch that dog a phone. Looks like he could use it. Step right here. Whose target is that? Hey, boy, go fetch it.
Quite a dog you got there, Conroy. Not even afraid of the sound of gunfire. Well done, soldier.
What in Sam Hill is that dog doing here? This is an army base, not a petting zoo. Whose dog is this?
He's my dog, Colonel, sir.
What in tarnation? Did you train this dog, soldier?
Wasn't that hard, sir? Sir, what would you have us do with the dog?
As long as that dog soldiers like that, he's as welcome as any man in this army.
It's gas. We need to sound the alarm. Let's go.
Stubby, go! Go tell them, Stubby, go! What? Stubby? Okay, gas!
Hi, little dog. Gas! Look, the dog is trying to wound us.
There he is. Stubby!
Thank you for my whole village. Merci à toi. Trop mignon.
Handy ho!
What is it, Stubby?
Don't even think about it.
No! Stubby, you'll be okay. Come on. Come on, Stubby.
I confer the honorary rank of sergeant on Stubby. Sergeant Stubby will wear these stripes.
Hey, Stubby, you outrank me now.
This woman came to a pawn shop to sell her jewelry to buy her daughter a laptop. This woman came to a pawn shop to sell her jewelry to buy her daughter a laptop, but the owner did something no one expected.
Can I help you with anything?
Yeah, I have got some old jewelry that I wanted to sell as scrap.
You need a certain amount, or you...
I have to get my daughter a computer, but we're getting a used one for her. She's away at boarding school.
You have way more than what a used computer would cost.
She is struggling financially because of her daughter's school bills, and she has no idea what her jewelry is actually worth.
I'm curious to know what you think this stuff's worth.
I think I'm pretty close to $400 there.
400?
Oh, more than that?
You're probably going to be surprised.
She thought it was worth just $400, but the honest owner didn't take advantage of her, and she's about to be shocked by its real value.
$10,000?
That's what I told you.
After hearing that, she gave them even more, bringing the total to $12,000.
I will tell other people about your pawn shop.
This woman came to a pawn...
When Sadio Mane took the ball from Cristiano Ronaldo to take the penalty, no one expected what was about to happen. When the referee pointed to the spot, Mane, confident he would score, stepped up to take the shot. Everything seemed normal. The stadium was expecting a goal. But then he missed on purpose, hitting it straight at the goalkeeper, as if he had made that decision at the very last second, leaving everyone completely confused. No one understood what had just happened. Not the players, not the crowd, not even Ronaldo. But the strangest moment came 5 minutes later, when the referee awarded another penalty. This time, a player tried to hand the ball to Ronaldo to avoid any drama. But Mane stepped in again and took it without hesitation, determined to shoot once more, as if he had something to prove. That's when Ronaldo really got upset. You could see the frustration on his face. And then the unexpected happened. Cristiano Ronaldo walked over, took the ball back, and looked ready to take control again. He let the tension build for a few seconds. Then he stepped up, struck the ball, and this time, he buried it. When Saudi...
Want to play Bone Lab on your phone? Look no further. Get the Bone Lab...
This grandmother had lived with her dog for 5 years, but she had never been able to touch him. Whenever she got close, he would gently move away. Some people thought he didn't trust her, but that wasn't true. He stayed by her side, followed her when she called, and waited for her every day. The only thing he couldn't accept was being touched. Years earlier, he was found alone, very sick, and almost hairless because of a painful skin condition. Even after his body healed, the fear of human touch remained. Wanting to help him, the grandmother reached out to an animal behaviorist. With time, patience, and gentle guidance, the dog slowly learned that her touch was safe, and for the first time in 5 years, she was finally able to touch him.
The
man suspected that his paralyzed wife was faking it, so he used various tools to test her repeatedly. His wife didn't show any reaction throughout. What the husband didn't know was that his wife had unexpectedly won a $5 million lottery. In order to test whether her husband would abandon her, she pretended to be paralyzed. After that, the man came up with another crazy test. He took his wife to a slope and then pushed the wheelchair down. The wheelchair rushed down at an extremely fast speed. The man thought that his wife would surely reveal her true state at the moment of life and death. But as the wheelchair's speed got faster and faster, his wife still didn't make any move. The man realized something was wrong and immediately chased after it. No matter how hard he ran, he couldn't catch up with the wheelchair moving at such a high speed. In desperation, he leaped forward and pounced on it, which finally stopped the wheelchair. Even so, the man's testing didn't stop there. He stuffed dog food into her mouth. Unexpectedly, his wife ate it with relish. Facing such unappetizing food, she still didn't react. At this moment, the man finally believed that his wife was truly paralyzed. To make up for his mistake, he started to take good care of his wife. Even if his wife spat food all over his face, he didn't complain. But as time went by, the husband began to find it unbearable. One day, he took his wife to the seaside and told her that he was going to abandon her. After saying that, he left without looking back. At this time, the girl recalled the wonderful times they had spent together. She then realized that she had gone too far, so she stopped pretending and got up to chase after him. When she got home, her husband had already left. She thought her husband had really abandoned her, but the next second, her husband walked out with a smile. It turned out that this was also his test for his wife. Just like that, the couple...
What is that?
Death metal.
No, not in my home birth. Help me out.
No. You relax. I'll talk to him. Neighbor, what do you want? My wife and I are having a baby, a home birth. Can you turn it down? No. Okay, Nyla, you don't want to stress the baby. I'm sure they'll turn it off at some point.
Move. Turn the music down. Now.
Yo, turn it down!
Thank you so much.
Fireworks?
No, that was gunshots. Officer Nyla Harper, shots fired near 5575 Orange Grove.
Well, looks like a false alarm.
Didn't sound false.
Your neighbor said they were watching Dirty Harry. That's gotta be what...
Smitty, I'm telling you, I heard live gunshots.
We did a thorough search of the house. There was no sign of foul play. You didn't hit him with anything else?
No, thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, if I take a quick shower?
Yep. Dirty Harry, my ass. Someone's in the house.
Not necessarily.
Get my gun.
Nyla, you are fully dilated. This baby is coming any minute now.
It's the murderers from across the street. Get my damn gun.
Okay, you stay here, okay? Check it out. Stay here.
What? No, James, stay. No, James, you. Drop the gun. I am in here giving life, but I will take yours if you even twitch.
Seven out 200 shots fired. Officer needs help in my location. Nyla! Wait!
It's a girl.
On the first day of school, the girl came to school holding a baby and started breastfeeding right in front of all the students. The other students all made fun of her, saying she had no shame and was being indecent. They all begged the principal to kick the girl out of school. Right then, a rich old man came to the school with his son for an inspection. As soon as they walked in, they heard a baby crying. The CEO thought his dad was just desperate for a grandkid. The old man had no choice but to pray to the heavens to give him a big grandson. And then the next second, a baby fell right out of the sky, which got the old man super excited. The principal saw the big boss was here to inspect, so he immediately had someone drag the girl away. In the middle of all the chaos, the CEO recognized at one glance that the girl was exactly the wife he had been searching so hard for. On the first day of school, the girl came to school holding a baby.
This man stepped into the house after a long day and immediately hit his leg on the edge of the table.
Fool's Day, which means nothing counts, right?
April Fool.
The Sledger got a huge nerf in the Christmas 2023 update. The tower now needs to hit an enemy twice to freeze it, and it has got a much worse value than before. This tower also has a lot of disadvantages and bugs, and here are some.
The Jujutsu Kaisen manga is over, but the universe is too big to just leave behind. Which spin-off would you actually watch? Let's break down the most interesting ones. Instead of just seeing Sukuna fight, give us his actual backstory. Show us how he became the king of curses, how he met his loyal chef Orowume, and how he absolutely slaughtered the strongest sorcerers of the Golden Age. Or what about Yuto in Africa? While Shibuya was literally getting nuked, this guy was just chilling. Give us a slice-of-life anime of Yuta eating good food and happily dodging the main plot. Next, we desperately need to see foreign sorcerers. We know almost nothing about the outside world. Show us Miguel's people, or Momo's dad, who is canonically an American sorcerer. Is his curse technique literally just an AR-15? We need answers. And finally, we can't forget Toji's backstory. Show us how he survived being thrown into the curse pit by the Zenin clan. And more importantly, give us the romance. Show us how he met Mamaguro, the only woman who managed to fix this broken man. The
Hey, finish the lyrics. You left your umbrella. No, finish the lyrics. You left your umbrella. Again. You left your umbrella. Bro, I literally wrote the song. I did not know the final time. You left your umbrella. You don't like it? Hey.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
If you're in a coma, just wake up. If you're disabled, become enabled. If you have a heart attack, attack it back. If you have Alzheimer's, just forget it. If you're depressed, just be happy. If you have dementia, forget it. If you have anxiety, just calm down. If you're a villain, just be a hero. If you're broke, just bring more money. If you're homeless, you don't have money. If you're dumb, just become smart. If you are dead, just respawn. If you're drowning, just drink the water. If you're deaf, just hear. If you're in a wheelchair, just walk. If you're ugly on the outside, put on makeup. If you're ugly inside.
If you're homeless.
Today, I'm trying to beat every single mode in TDS without reusing a tower in one of my loadouts. Specifically, I'm doing it in solo, and if I use, say, Mercenary Base for Polluted Wastelands 2, I cannot use it for any other mode. This challenge, combined with how many modes there are in TDS, leads to some extreme constraints, particularly main DPS towers like Accelerator and Minigunner that are able to deal with polluted or badlands, number few, and stretch thin over game modes. Supports too are very scarce as I can only use towers like Commander, DJ, and Medic in one mode each. Despite these constraints, I was able to do it, and this is how. Like and subscribe. So this is the graph I've made to showcase where I'll use what towers, which I haven't planned that out yet. I'll do that on camera. You might notice that there is Hidden Wave. I don't plan on doing Hidden Wave, but if I beat everything else and I still have like room to spare, I might actually try it. Okay, so Swarmer is basically just a nuclear bomb that can kind of obliterate any mode's boss. You can 2-tower solo hardcore with Swarmer, and you can 3-slot solo polluted with Swarmer. For now, I'm going to use Swarmer on hardcore along with Archer to 2-slot solo hardcore, because that is just insane like value. So one mode down, Void Reaper is getting like
obliterated by Swarmer. Once again, Swarmer on the Danks channel. Every video just uses Swarmer. I'm going to use Mercenary Base on Polluted Wastelands. That is a thing that I'm definitely going to use, because it just gets so much value on that map, because you have so much money to micro it. And what other DPS towers will I use for Polluted? And I also need to do, like, Badlands and Pizza Party. I guess I could use Assassin, because I used it to 3-slot with Swarmer. Assassin is very good at, like, crowd control damage, but there might be better options. Well, I guess there's nowhere else to really use Assassin. And then after that, I basically just need like some really good DPS towers and maybe some crowd control towers. I think I might use Medic, Commander, and Gold Mini, or Hacker. I think I might replace Assassin with Hacker, because Hacker can turn like the Nuclear Gardens into units. Okay, and this is my Polluted loadout, seemingly. Is this good enough to beat solo Polluted? I think it is. Should I use normal mini for the tower placement? I have 3 commanders, 5 medics, 2 hackers, and 3 mercs. Is that worth it? I guess with a medic, it's kind of easier, because you can just make them immune to stuns for, like, sort of. So I suppose I will use that. Also, for early game included, I'm not really, like, scared at all, because you can kind of do early game with, like, anything at this point. Okay, so moving on to Badlands 2, I do have a lot of options here, and I might use Golden Cowboy. The Golden Cowboy isn't really a good tower in general. There's no very good use cases for it. People use it in Badlands 2 because it kind of just makes the early game a lot easier, because you have a lot of more money and, like, leeway. Badlands 2 isn't a very, like, DPS intensive game mode because the boss only has 600,000 health and there's not too much enemy, like, high HP enemies. It's not like Polluted or Hardcore or Hidden Wave in that sense. But it still does need a lot of DPS. And I don't play Badlands, so I'm thinking I might just use, like...
This is the bond. Voted the...
Alright, bye guys. I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna end the live stream. Bye.